With the recent announcement that Nicholas Latifi will be leaving Williams Racing at the conclusion of the 2022 season, it appears that the Canadian's career as a full-time Formula One driver may have been brought to an end. Since his F1 debut, he has been the target of a great deal of criticism. But is Latifi's Formula One career really that bad? Let's find out. Before we go any further, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our amazing videos. Thanks for doing that. Let's get started. At age 13, Nicholas Latifi, a Toronto native, took his first steps in the world of motorsport by kicking off with a career in karting. Just 11 years later, he was able to compete in Formula One as a full-fledged driver. Latifi joined the F1 grid for the 2020 season after accumulating significant testing experience in F2, demonstrating that he possessed the speed necessary to compete at the F1 level. His testing experience included both private and official sessions. Latifi finished in second place in the Formula 2 Championship in 2019. This was Latifi's most impressive season in Formula 2, and he was largely responsible for his promotion to the top tier of auto racing. Latifi's first taste of F1 machinery actually came all the way back in 2017, when Renault gave him a test drive in one of their cars. In 2018, he continued his responsibilities with Force India before becoming a member of the Williams family the following year. Because of his partnership that year, and the fact that his partnership between Williams and Robert Kubica did not work out in 2019, Williams decided to move their affable Canadian reserve driver to a full-time driver with George Russell for the 2020 season. As far back as late spring, when the first rumblings of Alpine's plan to place Oscar Piastri at Williams for next year were starting to emerge, the writing seemed to be on the wall for Latifi. It was becoming obvious that his future was uncertain. Due to the fact that Latifi had difficulty performing on the track, there was not a significant amount to bolster his argument for maintaining his drive at Williams for the 2023 season. So, the news that his contract would not be extended came as no surprise. But the news gives Latifi a chance to now take the next step in his racing career and offer some closure. His 3 seasons in Formula One may not have brought him the results he expected, but they've also featured some exceptionally challenging situations. This is a bitter pill to swallow after spending so many years preparing to make the step up and fulfills one's dream to becoming an F1 driver. The boss of Williams F1, Jos Capito, praised Latifi as a great team player who has a great attitude towards his colleagues and work and is well-liked and respected throughout the business. Capito continued, "Our time together is now coming to an end, but I know he will put full effort into maximize what we can do together for the remainder of the season. We wish him all the very best of luck for his future, both in and out of the cockpit." It was always going to be difficult for him to make an impact because Williams was still healing from the catastrophic 2019 season and was far behind the rest of the F1 group. Also, Latifi had to compete with a top-notch driver such as George Russell across the garage, which was made more difficult because COVID pushed back the start of his season until July. It was not an easy beginning for someone who was just starting out. Last year, Williams began to have a better performance, latching back onto the rear of the midfield. After more than 2 years without a point scored, Williams finally got on the board thanks to Latifi's maiden F1 point after he finished 7th place in the 2021 Hungarian GP. Russell also earned points in the same race, finishing 8th. Russell's tears may be what most people remember about that day, but Latifi's efforts were also quite important. Another point followed at Spa when the rain came out and cut proceedings short, giving him 9th after a solid qualifying on Saturday. And then Abu Dhabi happened. It is common knowledge that the conclusion of the 2021 Formula One season had a massive impact on the sport as a whole. After his accident in the season-ending race in Abu Dhabi last year and the impact of the subsequent safety car on the championship, he found himself the target of ludicrous accusations, abuse, and even death threats, the severity of which caused him to fear for his own safety. It was horrible to think that an individual who was racing and had merely made a mistake should have to deal with the harsh comments from online trolls. Although Latifi may have made efforts to move on from Abu Dhabi, doing so is far simpler in theory than in practice. It would have significant effect on the mental state of anyone, regardless of how physically powerful they had grown as a result of their training to become an exceptional athlete. Jost Capito, the boss of Williams F1, recently gave an interview on the High Performance podcast. In the interview, he stated that he believed Abu Dhabi's influences impacted Latifi's early season form. Capito said, "It was extremely hard. Anybody who didn't go through this has no idea how these feel. Even if you switch off your social media, you are in contact with other people who still see it. You know what's going on, and you just can't get away. I'm sure it affected his driving after that. I'm convinced about this. I can understand that, and this is why we gave him the confidence and supported him all the season." Even after Russell was replaced with Alex Albon, Latifi could not find his form in the same degree as his colleague. He was left perplexed by the car, and he voiced his annoyance after Canada by stating that there wasn't really anything nice about his race on the circuit. A chassis change at Silverstone provided him with the comfort that he previously lacked, and he hoped that Williams would judge him from there on. However, when Nick de Vries reached the points as a late stand-in at Monza, it appeared to be the final nail in the coffin for Latifi's hopes of staying for 2023. Few can sugarcoat Latifi's results in the last 3 years, but he deserved better than his F1 career becoming something of a meme. Whether it was jokes harking back to Abu Dhabi, the nickname Gotifi, or making light of some of his qualifying efforts, all in the pursuit of social media influence, he deserved better than that. It's unclear what the future holds for Latifi. Back at Zandvoort, Latifi stated that he was not giving a great deal of thought to opinions outside of Formula 1 until he knew what the future held with Williams. However, we can only hope that he will be able to join the lengthy list of drivers who, despite having their Grand Prix careers come to an end, went on to have success in other types of racing, such as IndyCar, Formula E, or sports car racing. There are many opportunities in other racing sports available to him right now. The most important thing for Latifi to do at this point is to make the most of the remaining races with Williams, gain as much experience as possible from competing in Formula 1, and if he is still looking for some kind of mental reset or relief as a result of the impact of the abuse he faced after Abu Dhabi, find the peace of mind he is seeking. So, who will replace Latifi at Williams? Although it is public knowledge that Williams is giving de Vries a serious consideration for a full-time seat in 2023, the team has competition for the signature of the Dutchman from both Alpine and AlphaTauri. One of Williams' Academy drivers, Logan Sargent, who is presently competing in Formula 2 and needs a top 5 result to get a super license, is an additional choice for the team to consider. Another driver that could replace Latifi is Mick Schumacher. Mick is expected to part ways with Haas at the end of the current season. Mick Schumacher would not be making a bad decision by moving to Williams, because he has a good chance of regaining his form with the British squad. Mick is most likely one of the drivers on Jost Capito's list, after the Williams team principal lauded the accomplishments of Mick Schumacher's father, the legendary Michael Schumacher. What's your thought on Latifi's F1 career? Let us know in the comment section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch amazing videos like this. We at 5 Second Penalty got you covered on the latest topics. See you in the next video. Bye.